What if the very thing you are trying so hard to practice is actually the thing that disappears the moment you start practicing it? This is the strange paradox of meditation. Almost everywhere in the modern world, meditation is treated like a technique, something you do for 20 minutes in the morning, maybe with a calm music track playing in the background, sitting straight, closing your eyes, controlling the breath, repeating a mantra like a machine. It becomes a routine, almost like brushing your teeth. Useful perhaps for relaxation, but the question is deeper than relaxation. The question is that really meditation? Or is it just another activity of the mind trying to control itself? When we look carefully, we discover something unsettling. The mind that is trying to meditate is the same mind that is restless, anxious, ambitious, fearful. So when that mind tries to become silent through effort, it is like a noisy crowd trying to force itself to be quiet by shouting, "Silence." The contradiction is obvious. True meditation may not begin with control at all. It may begin with understanding. Krishnamurti used to insist on this point with almost surgical clarity. He would say that meditation is not something you practice like learning the piano. It is not a skill that grows through repetition. It is the natural flowering of a mind that understands itself. Osho approached the same mystery from a slightly different flavor. He did not deny techniques completely, but he constantly warned that techniques are only ladders. If you cling to the ladder forever, you never actually reach the roof. Both were pointing toward the same hidden truth. Meditation is not something you manufacture. It is something that happens when the noise of psychological struggle begins to dissolve. To understand this, consider a small story. A man once went to a Zen master and proudly announced, "I meditate every day for 2 hours." The master asked him calmly, "Why?" The man looked surprised and said, "To attain peace." The master laughed gently and replied, "If peace is your goal, you are already disturbing yourself." The man was confused. How can the search for peace create disturbance? But look at your own mind and you will see the same movement. When you sit down and say, "I must become calm," immediately there is a division in the mind. One part of the mind becomes the controller, and another part becomes the thing to be controlled. One part says, "Be quiet," while the other part keeps producing thoughts. And then a struggle begins. The controller fights the thoughts resist, and you call that battle meditation. In reality, it is just psychological warfare. Real meditation may begin when this division is seen clearly. When the mind understands that the controller and the controlled are actually the same movement of thought, the struggle suddenly becomes unnecessary. Silence, then, is not forced. It emerges naturally, the way a lake becomes still when the wind stops. Another small story reveals the same truth in a different way. A young woman once joined a meditation retreat because her life had become chaotic. Her job was stressful, her relationships were confusing, and she believed meditation would fix everything. The teacher there gave a simple instruction: sit quietly and watch whatever arises in the mind. For the first few days, she was frustrated. Thoughts were exploding in every direction: memories, fears, plans, anger. She felt she was failing. One evening, she went to the teacher and said, "My meditation is terrible. My mind is too noisy." The teacher smiled and said something unexpected: "Your meditation has just begun." She did not understand at first, but slowly it became clear. For the first time, she was actually seeing the movement of her mind instead of running away from it. Before, the noise was always there but unnoticed. Now the awareness of that noise had appeared. That awareness itself was the beginning of meditation. The point was not to eliminate thoughts, but to see them clearly, without judgment, without suppression. When the mind is observed deeply like that, something extraordinary begins to happen. Thoughts lose their authority. They come and go like clouds passing across the sky. The sky itself remains untouched. This is why the question, "Can meditation be practiced?" becomes so interesting. Practicing usually means repetition with a goal. You practice piano to play music better. You practice mathematics to solve problems faster. But meditation is not about improving performance. It is about understanding the very structure of the mind. Understanding cannot be produced through mechanical repetition. Imagine trying to understand a friend by repeating a sentence every day. I will understand you. I will understand you. That repetition would not bring understanding. It would only create boredom. Real understanding happens when you observe the person carefully, listen deeply, notice their reactions, their silences, their contradictions. The same is true with the mind. Meditation begins when the mind observes itself with the same curiosity. Osho often used a playful example. He would say, look at a small child watching butterflies in a garden. The child is not practicing concentration. The child is simply fascinated. There is attention, but it is effortless. The child is not forcing himself to focus. The interest itself creates the focus. Meditation has something of that innocent quality. It is not tense attention. It is relaxed awareness. The moment effort becomes dominant, the natural quality of awareness disappears and turns into concentration. Concentration is narrow and tense, like forcing your eyes to stare at a single point. Awareness is wide and relaxed, like looking at the entire sky. But here is the deeper insight both Osho and Krishnamurti pointed toward. Meditation is not limited to sitting with closed eyes. If it were, it would become just another compartment of life. Real meditation begins to penetrate ordinary living. When you are walking, talking, listening, working, the same quality of awareness can exist. You notice how anger arises, how jealousy appears, how ambition pushes you forward, how fear shapes your decisions. You watch these movements not with condemnation, but with clarity. That clarity itself has a transformative power. When you see something completely, it naturally begins to change. For example, if you observe anger carefully at the moment it arises, feel the heat in the body, the tension in the chest, the rapid thoughts, something interesting happens. The anger cannot dominate you in the same way because awareness has entered the scene. Awareness is like light entering a dark room. The darkness does not need to be fought, it simply disappears.